When you give, it's given back to you. So when you're giving to yourself, you will receive something from what you're giving to yourself. A lot of people are struggling with, how do I change? How do I change myself, or how do I change things that are around me? The best way for you to change things around you is to change yourself. And once you change yourself, these things that are around you will begin to change.
Let's go, let's grow.
Carlos V. Spencer here, back with another video, another week. Glad to have you back. Glad that you're tuning in, whether you've been tuning in from week to week or whether this is your first week tuning in to this channel. We're here to make you better. We're here for you to invest in yourself. We're here for you to find out more information to put into you, to whatever you put your hands to, so it'll make that thing better. So whatever you do, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, whether you're a singer, whether you're a trainer, you're a coach, you're a teacher, you're in business, entrepreneur, no matter what you're doing, this channel is designed to make you better. So whatever you put your hands to, that automatically becomes better. This week, we're going to deal with giving, and not just giving. We're going to deal with the law of reciprocity. We're going to deal with that law. So when you give, it's given back to you. There's a law, just like gravity, right? The reason why I say that, you can believe that gravity doesn't work, right? Gravity doesn't exist. I don't believe in gravity. So I was about to say I challenge you, but I don't challenge you. Do not do this. But if somebody was to go on top of a building and to step off and say, I don't believe in gravity, well, your non-believing self is going to fall down to the ground because the law of gravity is going to take place. So there are some things that are laws. And a lot of times these laws are working against us because we haven't recognized them, or we haven't learned enough about the law to understand that this law can work for us. And some people, again, I don't believe in that. Well, you don't believe in gravity doesn't mean that gravity doesn't exist. So just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. While you're not believing in it, some other people are believing in it and making this thing work for them. So it's a law. This scripture, this particular passage, it's a law. Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. For with the same measure that you give to all, it shall be measured unto you again. That's a law. When you give, it's given back to you. So when you're giving to yourself, you will receive something from what you're giving to yourself. A lot of people are struggling with, how do I change? How do I change myself, or how do I change things that are around me? The best way for you to change things around you is to change yourself. And once you change yourself, these things that are around you will begin to change. Okay, well, Carlos, how do you do that? You give, and it's given unto you. You give yourself to something and that thing gives back to you. Now, if you're from a church setting, a lot of times you'll hear that scripture when it comes to giving money, when it comes to giving financially. And I believe that. I believe in giving financially. I believe that law is in place for giving money as well, but it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just stop at giving money to receive something. I'll give you a prime example. I'm a playwright. So that's another one of the things I do is I've been writing musical theater for probably over 20 years now, doing productions, doing theater. And when I do the productions or write the productions, there are times I write some of the music. I don't write all the music, but there are times I write a song here or there, or I have an idea for a song. So I wrote this song, but I did not write the music. So a friend of mine came and we're putting together the musical portion of the song. We're producing the music. So he plays the piano. And so while I'm singing this song, he's playing the chords and coming up with the production of the music for the song. So this is a person who's been playing the piano all his life. We're adults, and he's been playing since he was a child. And so while he's playing this music, right, he plays a certain chord. And when he plays the chord, he goes, "Ooh, did you hear that? Did you hear that chord?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard it. That was nice." I'm like, "But you played it." But he pulls his hands off the keys after he hits a chord. And when he hits this chord, he's almost like surprised. Like, "Ooh, where did that come from?" At that moment, and then reflecting on that moment, something came back to me. He had been learning how to play the piano since he was a child. He learned for years. He practiced for years. He's given himself for years. He's given himself, this is good. He's given himself to the instrument. And now, since he's given himself to this instrument for so long, the instrument is now giving back to him. If you're a musician, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Even some singers, you ever see a singer singing something in a rehearsal and they sing something or hit a certain riff or hit a certain note and stop and like are surprised themselves? It's because they've been giving to this thing for so long that this thing is now given back to them. So when you give, it's given back to you. A lot of people want to become better or looking to become better and trying to figure out how to become better when they're not giving to themselves, watch this, or giving to their craft. And when you get, I'm a speaker. I've given to my craft to the point where my craft now starts to give back to me. What does that look like in my particular craft? I'll be up speaking as a keynote, lecturing in front of training in front of a staff or lecturing in front of a huge conference. And in the midst of that, I have a prepared lesson. I have slides, and there'll be a portion of that lesson where something comes to me because I've given to my craft so much that the craft is now giving back to me. Also, I've taken time to read books. I've taken time to find out information. I've taken time to feed myself with different things. So now these things are giving back. Do you catch what I'm saying? I read 26 books in 26 weeks. I've said that before, but it bears repeating. And the reason why I read books and I read them over and over again, I don't have time to go into that. That's another video. Watch another video when I talk about you shouldn't just read something once or watch something once. The reason why I do that, read books and gather information, is so when I get up, I have something to say. So when I get up, I'm pulling from something that I've given into myself. So when you give, it shall be given back to you. And when you give and it gives back to you, you now start to change yourself and you're now moving at a different pattern and or rate or vibration because you've changed what's on the inside of you. And when you've changed what's on the inside of you, you've caused yourself to move at a different pattern. What do I mean when I say that? Law of vibration, right? The law of vibration precedes the law of attraction. So when you give, it shall be given unto you. So when you give to yourself, you'll get more out of yourself. When you give to something, you'll get more out of that thing. But at the same time, you start to receive things back to you. A lot of people believe in the law of attraction. Some people believe, okay, how can I attract different things? You can attract different things by changing the way that you vibrate. And when you change the way that you vibrate, you now move in a certain pattern that this other thing is moving, and now it's attracted to you. Let me make it plain, make it simple. You ever hear misery loves company? Right? You know why misery loves company? Because they vibrate at the same pattern. That's why they're getting along with one another. How can two walk together unless they agree, right? You're getting along with one another. You ever had a phone call from somebody and your phone start ringing and you just look at the phone number and you feel the energy from the phone number and you like, or you see the name, you're like, I'm not answering that. Because you can tell before the person's even saying something. Please hear this. You can tell just from the phone call. Or sometimes you pick up, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I ain't doing so good. And somebody's immediately going there, so you feel the way that they're vibrating, you feel the way they're moving. And if you're not on that path, you're not attracted to that person. There are certain things that will attract to you. I'm gonna say this. There are some things that are out there waiting for you that you have the ability to do, but those things are waiting for you to change yourself to be on the same level as those things, so that you can now be released to do what you already know how to do. It's not that you don't know how to do these things. Sometimes you aren't vibrating at a certain pattern to put yourself on a level to where the things are. The things are already there. The opportunities are already there. The streams of money are already there. The open doors are already there, but sometimes you haven't equipped yourself or positioned yourself or added to yourself to a point to elevate yourself to a different pattern or a different vibration so that now you're moving so different that you elevate yourself past what you've been on. You're moving so different. I gotta say this, I gotta close this. You're moving so different that people are not used to being around you, so they start to leave you. I think it was Jay-Z that said, oh, you got all this money, now you change. He said, you think I did all this hard work to stay the same? So some people and or places and or things won't feel comfortable around you when you start to change. Watch this. This is for free. You don't have to cut people and things off. When you change, other people and things won't want to be around you. They will leave and they will fall off themselves. Our biggest problem as people is we continue to reach back to those things, and we want to pull those things and people back to us. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. For with the same measure that you meet with all, it shall be measured unto you again. That's a law, just like gravity. When you give, it's given back unto you. Start to give into a craft, it will give back to you. Start to give to your craft, and your craft will give back unto you. Give to your profession. Give to whatever it is that you are doing. Whatever business or entrepreneur idea that you're trying to get into or that you're into and you're trying to get to another level, give unto it. Find out more about it. Fill yourself more with the information from those things. You change yourself. You change the vibration. And you start to attract different things to you that are on different levels. And a lot of times you can already operate on that level. You just need to change your vibration by changing yourself to push you up onto a level that you're ready to maximize on. I'm Carlos V. Spencer. I'm glad you joined us here today. I believe you got a little bit better. You can rewind this and watch it again and keep on pressing to make yourself better. Let's go. Let's grow. Let's get it.
Let's go. Let's grow. Let's grow.